At this point, you guys better be preparing your documents, because if you guys are not going to apply next year, February, after I've given you all this information, I'm going to find all of you personally and slap you at the back of the head. Hi guys, I'm back, and this time around I'm going to read you guys my study plan. I will tell you guys, this one is quite long. It is 2.5 pages compared to my 1.5 page of my personal statement. But you had to include a lot of things in the study plan, which was your language study plans, your goal of study, your study plan, and also your future plan after study. So there was a lot of things that I had to include in the study plan. So it is quite long. And without further ado, I'm gonna start. I think I'm going to need to prepare like a glass of water next to me because I'm gonna get parched. Somebody come get her. She dancing like it. My skin. Oh, and another thing, I separated my paragraphs into 3. Language study plans, my goal of study, and finally my future plan after study. It was like this small. That's how small it was. Just in case you want to know if you have to separate each part or not, I separated them. So, language study plans. The Global Korea Scholarship Master's Degree Program requires that I attend 1 year of Korean language program and 2 years of the master's degree curriculum, which is either to be taught in English or Korean. My aim is to finish the Korean language program within the first 6 months, which I failed. This would allow me to start my master's degree studies as soon as possible. This requires that I attain at least a topic level 5 or 6 in the first 6 months. I have never taken a Korean language proficiency test, so I'm unable to say with certainty my probable Korean language proficiency. I have been enrolled in the Korean language lessons at the Kim Se-jung Institute since 2022 and have acquired some level of knowledge in the Korean language. I intend to continue on with my lessons and to participate in the upcoming topic examinations to get an awareness of my current topic proficiency. I have also been using Korean language learning apps Hello Talk, Papago, and Memrise, and the online learning platform Coursera to learn and familiarize myself with Korean more faster. Before my arrival in Korea, I will be using these methods to improve my Korean language skills. While in Korea, I intend to supplement my formal classes with online lessons and to receive tutoring from native Korean speakers. I lack confidence in my speaking skills, so I hope to find language exchange partners or study partners in class or the dormitory as both a learning and interaction process. I will also take part in school or campus activities so as to have an exposure to various accents and connotations in the Korean language. This also includes traveling around Korea during my school breaks to learn more about the Korean language and culture. With access to the school library and the school book club, I also aim to read at least 1 Korean novel a month and practice both my reading and writing skills. I am not a native English speaker, however, English is our country's designated official language. Since kindergarten until my undergraduate studies, it is a language I have been taught in. But as evidenced by my IELTS score of 8.5 over 9, it is one I still don't have a complete firm grasp in. Thanks to the score report, I have realized my weakness in both my listening and reading skills. With an aim to retake the IELTS exam before leaving for Korea, I aim to incorporate audiobooks as part of my book club review mechanisms to help facilitate my listening skills. Different books read out in different accents will also allow me to familiarize myself with the vast world of accents out there and to make it easier for me to improve my listening skills. I also intend to at least write 2 book reviews per month to facilitate my writing skills. In preparation for writing a thesis, these reviews would also include reviews on scholarly books and articles related to my major so as to familiarize myself with the terms and speaks used in my major. While in Korea, retaking the language proficiency test will allow me to also keep up with all the other components of the English language. I also intend to find and join a local book club so as to be able to be exposed more to the language. I will also offer language exchange or study buddy opportunities to dorm mates or classmates willing to learn and improve their English language skills. So my tips when writing the language study plans, you should first include your language study plans for before going to Korea and then while in Korea. Another thing is that you should include both for English and both for Korean, because they're both the languages that can possibly be used in your major. And I don't know if you guys have also noticed my mention of a book club. When I was reading out my personal statement, I mentioned that I am a part of a book club, right? So I was tying in my personal statement, my interest, or who the person that I am to the person that I will be in Korea, which is a person who's going to also continue joining book club. So remember to always tie in your personal statement to your study plan. It makes it cohesive and like a part 2 of the book that you wrote in the personal statement. Now moving on to my goal of study and study plan. This one is very long. Now, the goal of study and your study plan is where you need to be very extensive. I remember when I was talking about your personal statement, I did advise people not to make it too long. This is the part of the study plan that you need to make long, because you need to talk about your goal of study and your possible thesis topic and what you want to study around while in Korea. So you need to sound as intelligent as you possibly can. And you need to sound as if you have everything together. You have to sound as if you already have a study plan, you have a thesis topic in mind, and you know what the hell you're doing. Because they don't want someone who they want to babysit once they come to Korea. They don't want to be chasing after you and be telling you to pick a topic. And most people will like take an extra year in Korea because they haven't come up with a thesis project. So they don't want someone who they have to pay more money, more tuition for to study for an extra year. They want someone who will be sure to study the master's program in the 2 years that they're given. So you need to sound like you got it together. So let me read out my statement. For my undergraduate studies, I pursued a bachelor's degree in law with the sole goal of becoming a practicing attorney. A plan that changed during my 4th year of law school as I was introduced to the world of public international law. I have since then took a great affinity and aptitude to international law, international relations, and the development of global society based off these relations. International relation involves a study into interactions between states, and the law that governs such interactions is public international law. Such interactions often give way to cooperation and development agreements between states, and it is these developments that have motivated my intended studies in the field I have applied for. This thus brings me to a discussion into my current goal of study and an outline of my detailed plan of study. Be mindful that I had applied to do international and area studies, which covers a lot of development, international relations, public international law. So you need to give a layout as to why you chose that intended major. So this was just me giving that layout. And after giving that layout, you have to also mention what specifically are you going to study and learn from that major. What is going to be your intended thesis, kind of, and this is where I go into it. The book, The Asian Aspiration, Why and How Africa Should Emulate Asia, co-authored by analyzes the development paths of 10 East Asian and Southeast Asian countries with comparative examples from African countries, and defines the development of Asian countries as a tale defined by unity of purpose among leaders of several countries. This alludes to the role that international relations has majorly played in the development of Asian states, though the book fails to discuss specifically in detail. Asia is regarded as the richest continent in the world, ranking at number 1 on the International Monetary Fund GDP share percentage list. It is also regarded as one of the most developed continents. In comparison, Africa ranks 2nd in the list for the poorest and least developed continents, with sub-Saharan Africa bearing most of the brunt. My study seeks to investigate the history of international law and international relations in Asian states through courses such as Area Studies, International Law and Cooperation, International Relations in East Africa. These courses will allow me to learn the principles or frameworks that are in place to guide relations between a number of Asian countries, including South Korea, Japan, and China. Furthermore, to look into the mechanisms of development born from such relations and their place in leading Asia to becoming such a developed continent. My thesis seeks to make a detailed comparative analysis of the development path of Asian and African states and highlight the role international relation is in global development. The lack of vast schools and scholarly articles in African states to teach and promote more about international relations and its role in development presupposes the lack of importance that is placed on it and may hypothetically be one of the major reasons why some African states may be slowly developed in comparison to their similar Asian counterparts. The study is not a mere inquiry into what has Asia done right, or merely what can Africa copy from Asia to become more developed. My study seeks to highlight a vital role that international relations may play in development by researching the historical development of two areas of the world and finding the key to advancing studies into global development and interstate relations. The research questions sought to be answered are: 1. What is the history of international relation in Asian states and how has those relations led to development of Asia as it is today? 2. What is the comparative analysis of the same issues in African states and what are the similarities and differences? And 3. From such an analysis, what mechanisms are needed in place to contribute to more development in African states? During my first year of studies, which have been designated for the Korean language program, I have undertaken myself to attain a topic level 5 or 6 within the first semester, so as to shorten it to 6 months. With diligent studying mechanisms and social integration into my school and town environment, I believe I will be capable to achieve this. Upon finishing the semester, my winter break will be spent pre-reading course material and readjusting to an academic environment. I also plan to retake my IELTS at the end of this semester in preparation for my degree curriculum, which will be taught in English. So as you can see here, I went into a brief explanation of my thesis and I tied it into the course that I will be studying. And then going forth, I'm going to explain what I will be doing each and every semester of my studies. That is my detailed study plan. That this first year I'll be doing this, and this semester I'll be doing this, and I'll be explaining it thoroughly. I have already explained what I'll be doing on my Korean language year. So now we have 4 semesters left, which is like 2 semesters in the first year and then 2 semesters in the second year. My first semester of my first year of my master's degree studies will be focused on familiarizing myself with basic and underlying principles of international relations and the foundation of area studies. If the lessons are taught in Korean, I shall dedicate the first 2 weeks to familiarizing myself with the course outline so that I'm prepared for the lessons in advance and I'm able to acquire any help needed on difficult concepts well in time for my lessons. It will also be a time I use to properly map out all the courses I will have to take to be able to achieve my goal of my study. As the programs I have applied to don't have a lot of courses specifically focused on development principles, I plan to self-study on them on my free time. I intend to make a detailed study framework or plan so as to align all the areas I need to learn about to facilitate my thesis. My second semester is one I would like to use to start focusing my studies into learning the link between international relation and development and choosing the specific states in both continents to be the focus of my comparative analysis as comparing all states in both continents would be a heavy feat. I would also like to use the semester to learn all about the research methods available to me and the requirements I need to fulfill in my study. The first semester of my final year will focus on formulating a final specific thesis topic to map out my intended research plan. I would also like to attend seminars related to my field of study and if internships are available in development institutions to also take part in one. In looking at the course curriculum when preparing for my application for the scholarship, I came across a course that provides for an internship in international and area studies, and I'm looking forward to enrolling and attending such a class. The Law Department and Political Science Department have a link to international relations, so finding supplementary courses in such departments is also an avenue I intend to pursue. The final semester will be focused on completing my thesis on time. Because remember, they don't want you to overstay your 2 years of study. I will also be focused on meeting all requirements I need to fulfill in order to graduate. I will also be looking into career opportunities both in Korea and around the world, specifically so as a lecturer. Now, this final statement has done 3 things. First, I have hinted at my future plan after study. Secondly, I had mentioned in my personal statement that my motivation for applying for the scholarship was because I wanted to become a lecturer. So I did mention that again in my study plan to tie my study plan to my personal statement. And in the third semester, I mentioned a lot about my need to graduate and my need to graduate on time, because I want to show them that my dedication is to finish this scholarship on the time that is provided, and I don't need them to pay extra for me to do an extra year or an extra semester. In conclusion, I would like to state this. It is a professional goal of mine as both a scholar, a law degree holder, an international relations enthusiast, and a hopeful future contributor to the education sector to conduct this study. Essentially, I hope to learn about the things the minority might not know about and be able to share it with those willing to learn. With the knowledge I have already attained from my previous run-in with private international law during my bachelor's degree education and the enthusiasm I have to learn more, I'm certain this opportunity will be well appreciated. And now to the final paragraph, which is my future plan after study. The end goal is to share my newfound knowledge with others. As a lecturer and as a scholarly article writer, regardless of whether it is in Korea, my home country, or any other state, I hope to use whatever knowledge I have gained to make people fall in love with the subject that is public international law. Most lecturer positions require that a candidate hold a master's degree, and upon my completion of this program, I will be qualified to become one. And I look forward to the day I can really use all my acquired skills to teach what I love. I also intend to intern or work for an international development organization which has exposure to international relations, more so in Korea, because this will allow me to further research international relations in an Asian state. The Korean International Cooperation Agency is one such agency I have a deep urge to work in. And with that, I thank you so much for your time and consideration, and I will end my essay here. Full stop. So yeah, the very final paragraph that talks of future plan after study, you just have to show them that you have a specific goal in mind, and you're not going to be someone who's going to be idling, and you're not going to be using this opportunity for a greater good. You're not just going to get this master's degree and go home and sit. They're going to give the scholarship to someone they know that they will use whatever knowledge they have attained from this scholarship for a greater good. So just show them that you have a passion for something, and that something is clear and concise, and you already have a place in mind. Like I said, for me, it's the Korean International Cooperation Agency. It shows that I've already done my research and I have a specific goal in mind. With that is everything you guys need to know about the study plan. So now with this video, I believe that you guys are now able to write your personal statement and your study plan, which are the two most important documents in the scholarship application. So in the next video, I will be going over all the other documents you will need and any tips or anything that I feel like you must know before you submit those documents. We're just going to go through all the document lists, and I might share any other information that I feel like would be good to share with you guys. I'll see you guys in the next video. Bye.